All right, and welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, markets here today with a little bit of a gap and kind of a fade here. So, we had a basically like 130 or 140 point rally off of the lows from last week. Actually, the ES, we can go, 49.63 to a high of today of 41.28. So a pretty sizable rally off of the lows here. And markets today, intraday, definitely a little bit on the tired side. From what I can see, we had a little bit of a kind of gap up, then just got tired here, came down to the 50-40 handle, which we've been talking about. So draw that in here. So we've just kind of been ping-ponged in between 50-80-ish and 50-40. We did exceed. We got up to just about under 50-90 today before chopping. You can see actually we have kind of a triangular pattern here, possibly now forming on the SPX right there. So kind of a wedge there. We do have Meta earnings out. I'll talk about that in a second. We are trading a little bit lower here in the after hours, basically at the lows of the day. But you can see here, if we look at the kind of intraday, like just a 2 hour here, last week we had the gap up on Monday, gap and crap, and then Tuesday we kind of just grinded sideways, and then Wednesday another gap up, and it was a pretty good sell. But we stayed inside of this range here for about 2 to 2.5 days. Whereas right now we're kind of doing the same thing, right? We V-shaped up, and now we're going sideways here. So can we eat through this supply and push higher? That is the question that remains to be seen. Again, 5100 to 5110 is your first big level after we get through 5080. And then on the downside, through 5040 could open the door, back down to about 20 and then 5K. I'm still in the camp that we have a little bit more to go here with this bounce. But again, we already up 120 or so points. I think 130, 140 actually, from peak to trough in, 4 sessions really. So nothing to say we don't pull back a little bit more, maybe even make a zigzag type pattern here. But let's look at Meta, because that is selling off. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Mark Zuckerberg has been selling like crazy. I mean, he's been selling, I think I counted something like 40 times, and I'm not even making that up. That's per insider sales. And you can see here, pretty good sell in the after hours on Meta. They did beat on revenue and earnings per share. Revenue is 35.64. Versus 35.57 expected, and then 471 versus 430 EPS. But it's selling off, and why? Well, when you're looking at like just a monthly chart here, like when you're this high on the hog and you're this extended, you're over 100% or about 100% extended from your 20 moving average. And this is a $2 trillion company, right? This isn't a rinky-dink biotech. Like, this is a Meta here. Basically almost 100% extended from its 20 moving average on the monthly. It's really hard to wow the market, right? Even when you beat by that much. So Meta coming in right now, it's at just shy of 450. So it's kind of like essentially holding on to this gap window here from the previous earnings, pop. So very interested to see where that ends up here. Maybe Zuck says something on the conference call that gets us a bounce here, but pretty good sell here on Meta right off the bat. You can see the futures right now, essentially back to the lows of the session. Nothing insane or crazy. The NQ just slightly piercing the low of the session, actually kind of right back into that pivot right there, going back to last Friday. Essentially, that's getting retested there on the NQ. But overall, we'll see what we get. Let me take a look here. I think Lamb Research, they're not out yet, it looks like. So it doesn't look like we have anything there. Let me see a Service Now. Yes, okay, Service Now coming down as well. That almost looks like a fake print there. But Service Now down to 700, so that's also putting a little bit of pressure there on the NQ. And then you have Ford here up about 50 cents here. So that's kind of offsetting a little bit. And then you have Chipotle, which never goes down ever, getting a bid here in the after hours. So a little bit offset there. But Meta, obviously the big one, and that is coming in. Now tomorrow, we've got Microsoft and Google. And we also have a few airlines. I think, yeah, we got travel stocks, Royal Caribbean, American Airlines, Southwest reporting tomorrow morning. And then I believe in the afternoon, Snapchat, Intel, Google, Microsoft. I think even Roku is reporting tomorrow afternoon. So lot more tech coming in, and we'll see how that shakes out. But right now, pretty good sell here for the NQ and the ES in the after hours. Nothing to really sneeze at, but overall, let me just flip to the SPY. Yeah, so again, we're basically right at the lows of the day. So right into that kind of 50-40 area, and it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out into tomorrow. Again, right in that area is kind of the near-term line in the sand. But overall, if we hold this upper area, it's really just kind of like, to me, kind of just bull flagging on the 2 hour there. Again, that doesn't mean we can't go lower, but I'm still not in the camp that we're ready to quite roll over just yet. And even if we do, I think we'll get one more higher low, a tradable one, to go possibly into next week. But right now, bears showing up again, and we're seeing a little bit more sell the rip type action here. But it was kind of expected. You had the VIX getting absolutely pounded for a couple days in a row. It had to get a little dead cat there, and markets up a lot and pulling back here off the highs. So anyways, Qs here. Again, right around the lows of the day from today, essentially. Basically, yeah, kind of right into that 100 moving average right now again. But we did kiss it again today, and we were able to close above it for a second day in a row. And we did close above yesterday's high as well, even though we're selling off a little bit after hours here. So definitely not anything insignificant. Again, this still remains a big line in the sand. I think the market's going to want to go test this. And maybe even, a little bit higher, maybe even like 436.50, 437 on the Qs. It just would be a little strange if we didn't go up there and test that. But that's the line in the sand right now. And again, nothing really too new to add. It's just pretty much a consolidation day here outside of the Meta earnings. Russell 2000 fractionally lower here in the after hours. Obviously, Meta not affecting that as much as it's just not even in it. But yeah, actually RTY actually getting a little bit of a bid here in the after hours. So the algo is not really sweeping the whole market here, which I guess is a positive in the short term. I'm still looking for IWM, 200, maybe 202, 202.50 here in the short term. Diamonds here, again, pressing right up against this area. So we talked about that being resistance yesterday, and that's proving to be the case here. So we're right inside of that inside day. Nothing terrible. It is down about 70 cents in the after hours. That's nothing. Actually, yeah, about 50 cents in the after hours. That's really nothing for the diamond. But again, do we just chop here for another day or two and then push back up? I'm kind of in that camp here for the SPX. So again, tomorrow may be even another, I'd say it's likely tomorrow is another kind of consolidation day, as it's like, okay, we got Meta out of the way. We tried to rally up this morning. We gap and crapped to an extent. We did come off the lows, obviously. But now with Meta kind of dragging us down, I think the market tomorrow is probably going to be range bound. And you'll see the market kind of just defer to Microsoft, Google, and the other big players coming out with earnings tomorrow afternoon. So that would be my kind of forecast here for right now. All right, semiconductors here up 24 cents today. But, they keep struggling. And I was talking about this in the trading room earlier. I'm just going to get rid of the after hours for a second. But, yeah, like look at where the low of the day was. 12.30. Look at where the low of the day is on the market. 1240 Qs, 1230, right? It's the semis are the story right now, and that's really dictating how this market shakes out. Look at Apple. Apple was strong all day. Apple held up really well. Microsoft held the gains for the most part today, even though it backed off a little bit. Look at Google. Google rallying today, even though it gapped down. It was really the semis, right? NVIDIA on the weaker side, down 3 1/3, and that's with TXN having a big pop. Again, PXN came off the highs. It still closed up, up 5.5, but it came off the highs. Couldn't hold most of the gains. And NVIDIA still not above Thursday's high. This was a stock that this has led the market since like January of 2023. This has been the leading stock, everybody's favorite stock. When the market's down, what saves the day every single time? NVIDIA. NVIDIA comes and just gets a huge buy program and when the market's down, and all of a sudden the spiders are green, right? It's flipping, right? It's different now. We didn't even test Thursday's high yet. We got close, we didn't test. Still inside of that. So I think Nvidia is still soft, and yes, the SMH did technically buy 4 cents. Doesn't matter, it still happened. Closed above Thursday's high. Not seeing the leadership from Nvidia. The stocks did. It's a little less weighted towards Nvidia, but we're seeing that distribution, right? So out of those big caps, and those previous leaders are now laggards here. So semis still soft. Yeah, we got above Thursday's high, but I mean, like, again, look how long it's taking, right? We got above that yesterday with ease on the spiders. And even the Qs, it got above with ease by yesterday's close. Nvidia is still unable to do that. That's not something you want to just not pay attention to. So Nvidia on the weaker side, semis still on the weaker side despite getting above 208. And yeah, be careful with the sector. IGV managing to scratch out an 8-cent gain. It should be down a little bit in the after hours with service now taking a hit. It looks like it's getting a little bit of a bounce here. Yeah, so it's bouncing up a little bit, coming off the lows. Let me just take a look at, see, Meta. Yeah, so hanging right around in that range. We'll see what the conference call does. NQ trying to hold up here. So I would expect a little bit more backing and filling. I'm going to expect the market to be kind of neutral-ish tomorrow as we wait for Microsoft. But in any case, IGV holding up today, backing off a little bit again. It still could get a retrace here. Big line in the sand here is still right around 83 and then 84. So transports fading all of yesterday's move. Again, 1, 2, 3 up. We talked about looking for lower highs here, and that was the case today. So pretty good sell on the rails. I think Norfolk Southern reported that was down about 4.5 at one point, finished down 3.6, CSX down 3, and Union Pacific down 1.8. So rails taking a hit here. We have American Airlines and Southwest tomorrow. So you're going to need to get a good day out of those for the transports to get any sort of traction. But again, failed weekly pattern, never good. All right, let's get over to rates here. So rates held up okay, but nothing like major or anything to write home about here. Let me get my other screen up here. There we go. So again, nothing really to write home about. On the daily, 2-year kind of flat. Again, still bullish consolidation until proven otherwise. This is just baking in the oven. If that moves up, market will not like it. Well, there's liquidity being sucked out right now. Same thing with 10s, 5s, 30s. We did have a 5-year auction today. Wasn't great, and you saw yields kind of spike up around 130, but they kind of came back in by the end of the day, so it was kind of a non-event there. But yields still holding up really well. But they've been kind of quiet lately. XHB here down 99 cents on the day, so it went up and tested the 50 and backed off. So again, that's the first sign of real weakness we've seen in XHB on a relative basis in a while. Usually XHB is a leader. It's always green no matter what. If the market's down, it doesn't matter. And today market was up. Even the NASDAQ was up, even with that big fade towards the end of the day. But XHB closing down. So again, just keep note of that here. If we lose this pivot, it should be down to 97 or so. VNQ managing to scratch out a 15-cent gain. I still think there's a lot of resistance up at 82. And then more at 83 and change. XLF continues to be strong. Just flat today. So down 1 penny, but pattern-wise, this is still okay. And if it consolidates, it can recover. I'm thinking it's probably not going to get much past, 41.50. And I do think it wants to come back down into that 38 handle at some point. But pretty good bounce here for XLF. And again, fins continue to lead. KRE, another green day. So that's 6 in a row, believe it or not, for the KRE. I still don't like the weekly pattern, but it's been holding up lately. And then there's KBE up 32 cents. So that's still in decent shape. Broker dealers back above the 20 MA. So back above all 4 moving averages. Again, I think there's a lot of, I don't think that they spent a couple weeks here distributing just to let it go higher, but we'll see. I'm still thinking 560. Oil has just been a little bit of a tough trade lately. I've been just kind of avoiding it. I'm still neutral on it. Yesterday you had a good pop. Today you've got an inside day, but not really I would prefer a stronger close. Above 83 would make that daily candle look a lot better for a potential kind of zigzag up. I don't like that big fat tail from the other day. I don't like that it's a lower high. Sellers came in. So that suggests to me the highs could be in, but you know what? If it firms up a little bit more, maybe you could have one more run. And if yields break out again, if you get that 2 year above 5%, that would certainly be a tailwind for oil, I would imagine. By the way, tomorrow we have PCE revisions for the month of for quarter 1, and then we have PCE on Friday. Don't forget about that with all the earnings coming up, and jobless claims tomorrow too, which we always get on Thursday. XLE continues to be strong. I'm very impressed with it. So look at the last 4 days, right? Gap down, green, gap down, green, gap down, green. 1, 2, 3, 4. So dip buyers are stepping in. That's your positive for oil here. And the other positive is, again, you held that level on the weekly close, like I said. So yeah, maybe XLE's holding. Maybe XLE can hold up here. We'll see. Decent price action. XOP okay as well. OIH inside day. Nothing terrible there. Still holding up. CCJ, a little doji there, indecision. Again, nothing has changed on either of these. I think they're just doing weekly consolidation right now. Nat gas, big rejection here, down almost 10% on the K contract. That's a new 52-week low for the K contract and the continuous. That's also, yeah, I think it's a new low going back to 2020 as well. So I think the official low is like $1.41. It will not get there unless we drop, 15 cents tomorrow, because we're gonna roll to M on, I think, tomorrow afternoon. So M is gonna take us up to about close to $2. That was down a little bit today, but again, they're doing this contango skimming. It looks like M contract down 6%, N contract down 4%, right? Front contract down almost 10%. Standard contract stuff going on there, if you ask me. But yeah, nat gas still struggling here. Dollar index just up 14 basis points. Nothing terrible intraday, just consolidating there. And again, the more of it does here, the more that moving average catches up, the more this can get a bid. Maybe towards 107. Again, there's still a lot of resistance up here, though. It's going to need to do a lot of backing and filling to get through that. Gold continued to back off here. I'm just neutral on it in the immediate short term. I still think dips will be bought. Again, I'm looking for maybe 22.50 to 22.25. Nothing has changed there. Silver a little bit weaker as well. I'm still looking at the 26 range. Platinum unable to get above this trend line again, but still didn't close below yesterday's low. But again, still on the weaker side. Been in a trading range for a while here. But again, I still like it as a catch-up play. Same thing with palladium. So nothing's changed on it. Look how tight this range is here on palladium. It's going to make a decision soon, I think. Copper here up 0.5%. Very overbought, very stretched, and it's just pulling back right now. Lastly, really quick before we get to Bitcoin, grains are on the move as well. I haven't talked about it in a while, but wheat has had 4 straight up days. I still have my wheat position from a long time ago, and it's been one of my most hated positions because it just does nothing. If it sells off, it's like, okay, well, I can add to it or DCA. If it rallies, it's like, okay, we're making money, but it's been nothing for 6 months. But now finally starting to perk up here weekly. I'd like to see a strong close on this. Above 6 would be nice. You also have soybeans, ZS, which has come into a pretty big level with a 618 here on the monthly. And it's holding that for now. It's trying to perk up here. And corn also getting a little bit of a bid. If that can get above, 450, I think it has some legs, up into the 470, 480 area. But green's definitely on the move. Just wanted to cover those really quick because I know I haven't done it in a while. And specifically wheat has had a nice bid. Bitcoin backing off post-halving. Be careful here. Maybe, okay, so we talked about lower highs, right? We just took out the last 4 days of trading, really. You could make a case you almost have like an M and then an A here. So I always prefer that high to be a slight higher high, but it wasn't. But either way, lower highs now. I talked about that. If we take this out, it's a little vulnerable here. And this pivot here is the big one. That was the master pivot on heavy volume. If that goes, I think we're going right to 52. Overall, though, you could really be in this range for a long time and it would not be bearish. It would just be a big picture consolidation. Even on the monthly here, just again, look, like I was just saying about with Meta, it really extended from the monthly 20 MA still. I mean, we could consolidate till the end of the year, right? And still be fine. And everybody would start hating it, like, oh, Bitcoin's not doing anything. Bitcoin's not. That's when I would actually be looking to buy if it did that. So nothing really wrong with it, but it is backing off. Got a lower high here. We'll watch for that. Again, around what, like 56, 57 here in the near term is our level here if it does continue to dip. So let's just take a look at Meta again. Yeah, a little bit more of a dip here for Meta. Let's take a look at the after hours. We'll see what I don't. Who knows what Zuck will say on the conference call. I know he was selling a ton, like at least over 40 times that I counted. That's not just normal stock sales. That's not just, oh, I need to pay my bills. That's a lot. So again, they still beat earnings, but this is kind of what happens when everything is priced in here. ES getting a little bit of a bounce. We see ServiceNow. Yeah, ServiceNow popping back up a little bit. Ford holding up. We see LRCX. So LRCX basically flat in the after hours, flat to lower maybe. And then CMG, which it's illegal for that to have a red day. So, of course, that's up here. But, yeah, ES getting a little bounce here. NQ getting a bounce. We see the RTY flat and the Dow down just fractionally. So, nothing terrible. Again, tomorrow I think we'll probably be range-bound again as we kind of just build out this pattern here. So, again, tight sideways pattern. Down, up. Can we follow through? We'll see. But it's probably going to come down to Microsoft and Google, so I would expect maybe a range bound tomorrow unless we get some type of news overnight, or if Zuckerberg saves the day on the conference call, we reverse the losses there on Meta. So anyways, guys, gonna wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on CarnivoreTrades.com. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.